Hi there, it's Ina here, and today I want to work on these little journals. I had shown these to you in my last chat video because I just got them recently in a second-hand store. For the ones of you who didn't see my chat video, these are just textbooks, little science textbooks, and I got three of them. I only paid 80 cents for them, so I think they will make some fun little pocket journals. So for starters, I'm taking the inside out, being careful not to cut into my cover as I want to use that in its entirety. Those pages will come handy for some other project. So I'm cleaning it up a little bit so it's not rough and has little bits and pieces of paper. And I'm also realizing I need to remove these front cover pages as well. Now these little pages are beautifully colored, like naturally stained, so I will be using them in my project. I also recently found these little chipboard frames, and I got a few of those. We are lucky to have a nice little second-hand art supply stores not far from where we live, and yeah, they have good deals. So I found those little frames and a few other goodies just the other day when I went on a little outing with my friend Shemi. So here I'm using very simple acrylic copper paint and a dry brush to give the cover a little interest. I don't want to cover up everything because I like the red fabric, old-fashioned looking cover, but I do go over the little title on the spine a little bit and just give it a little more interest with a little bit of color. And here you can see how I use my little makeup sponges twice in this paper clip because you can turn it around and use both sides. And I use them a lot. They come really handy, especially with stenciling like right here. This is a nice teal metallic acrylic paint. And I also use a tiny bit of white. I like to put two colors through a stencil sometime. It gives a nice little shading and little variety to it. Now, these covers going to be fairly simple. The whole book is going to be fairly simple, as I'm planning to take these to my Christmas craft fair I'm planning. And well, I hope there will be sellers. This teal metallic color is really very pretty. I just got a bottle like this, and I also got another one in purple, which I will use later on. And these are just simple Americana craft paints, but they really have a high vibrance, and I really like to work with them. They work really well. Now it's time to also color up the little chipboard frame, and I'm going with the same colors, the teal and the copper, and just blend it in a little bit until I'm happy. I'm also doing the edges in and outside of the little frame, and it's very fast to do that with the paintbrush. Okay, a little more of the teal, and well, I just fiddle around with it until I like the looks. Now I want to put it to the front of the book so whoever gets this book can put a title or their name on it. So I'm using, as you can see, the original book pages, and I'm just cutting out an oval after measuring that it would fit and not stick over the edges. And well, I'm going to go ahead and make a second one because I will use it for the next book as well. A little stamping. This is just a script stamp and some archival ink. I do like some light stamping here and there in my projects. I'm drying it again, and here comes some decoupage sealer. I just want to protect the cover. It is an old book. I don't want it to fall apart, neither do I want the paint to chip off or something. So this protects it and gives it a nice feel and a nice finish. I'm also doing the edges and the spine and try to get everywhere. I cut out a lot of the drying, but of course there's a lot of drying involved, so here and there. Here I'm cutting out a piece of cardboard to fit the spine and to make it a little stronger. And for that I use my tacky glue. Now for the inside of the book cover, I like to use fabric. I've showed you before. The nice thing about fabric, you can do the whole book cover in one piece because fabric is very, soft and movable. Whereas if you do this paper, you have to make three pieces, each side and then the spine separate. Otherwise, you get a lot of wrinkles. So I actually rip the fabric to the right size because I like the little frayed edges, and I glued it down with my gel medium. And I also go over the edges so those little frays do stay put. So a little more drying, and now I will complete the cover. I'm using the little paper and my little frame and my tacky glue to put it all together. Make sure it's all securely glued down. And that completes the cover of my first little book. Now the next two covers are going to be a bit similar, but I still left the making of it in here. I thought it gives you a better variety of what you could do with little books, even though my steps are not all that much different. Anyway, here I'm using gold as a background and my finger for a change. And you will see I also will add some color. I chose pink for this one, and I will use my dilution paints. Now the pink went on a bit too strong, so I used a baby wipe to kind of blend it out a little bit, because I want the cover just to have a little hint of pink, not too much. And even after that, I still add a little more gold to it. After a little bit more drying, I'm starting again with stenciling. This time I picked a fleur de lis as a little decoration, as I found some fabric actually has the same little symbol on it, so I thought it was fun to use them together. I'm using mostly white acrylics with a little hint of that pink, just to give it a little highlight. Now, of course, there are a million different ways of decorating journal covers, and I've done way more involved covers, and I usually do like to highly decorate my journal covers, but for this particular project, I just wanted something quick and easy, and I think this is something anybody could do. Just a little bit of stamping, a little bit of colors, some stenciling, and that's pretty much it. Even if you don't have these type of chipboard frames, you can substitute with something else, make your own little frame or another embellishment you have on hand. So after stamping a little bit on this cover as well, just a little delicate flower design, I'm again adding the decoupage sealer. And at this point, I don't know if you can tell, but the color starts running. And first, I didn't know where the red came from, but it's the actual book cover. Somehow these book covers were a little different. I had no trouble with number one, but number two and number three start running. So I guess they weren't permanent. So you see at the end, it altered the color a little bit, but it's okay. It makes it look a little old, and yeah, it's okay. I mean, you just have to work with it. It was kind of too late to do anything about it. So for my third cover, I'm using my brush to apply some vintage gold and just little strokes up and down and a little more stenciling too. Here I'm using that pretty purple metallic paint. Now, because of the rather rough cover, I do have to do each shape twice at least to get a nice coverage. And again, I'm using a little tiny bit of white just to give it a little more interest. And I also like in stamping or stenciling to make the images go off the edge a bit, like this flower. I think it just gives it a nice, relaxed look. So while I'm working on this cover, the other two are already drying, and I recommend you let them dry really well. I do use my hair dryer, but I also give them a little time to really dry. Go and have a cup of coffee, leave them alone before you start working on the inside. I often make the mistake to work too fast and not be patient enough to let things dry, and usually that's not a good idea, and I make messes. So here I'm adding a little bit of script stenciling as well, and the reason for that is because I also have some pretty material which has script on it, so I wanted it all to match a little bit with whatever fabric I put in the inside. And of course, a little bit of light stamping on this one too, and this cover is nearly done. Of course, it's also going to get some decoupage sealer on it, and here I'm working on the little chipboard just like I did with book 1 and 2, using the same color I used on the cover. And now for the inside, again, it works just the same way, but I just wanted you to have a look at the fabric. So this is fleur de lis, and I really like this pattern. Actually, I got these nice little pieces of fabric, this one too with a script, at Walmart in the section where they sell pieces for quilt makers, and they're very inexpensive and they have a great variety. So all three of my covers are dry, and I added two eyelets to each of the spines. You can see one eyelet on the top and one on the bottom, and that's all I'm going to need to attach a very simple binding. I'm using a piece of elastic here and a bead, one on the top. I'm going in, out through the bead and back into the book, and one on the bottom, and then I tie it up, and it gives me two lines of elastic right there on the inside, and that will hold two signatures. Now, this binding I first saw in a video made by Andrea Kidman, and in the meantime, it's been some I've used several times. It is really a very simple and fun binding. The nice thing about it is that these pages can be replaced. So here are my two signatures. I used a variety of paper and probably will add a few more, make it a little more chunky. All three little books have gotten their signatures, and I want to show them to you one more time. They're all done. The first one is the one with the teal design, which has a nice teal fabric piece on the inside. The next one is the one with the fleur de lis, and you can see here how the cover had bled and messed up my colors, but oh well, it still looks all right. The next one is one with the script, and there too you can see the discoloration a bit. And there is my fabric with the script. And this kind of binding is really very easy to do and a lot of fun to use too. So here are all three journals. I also like that the cover can be personalized by whoever will own these in the future. I hope you had fun. Bye bye for now.